And we're live.
All right, should we go in three, two, one? All right. Hi, everyone. We're so excited to have you on this call. This is a special Covet session. We're usually on Mondays, but of course, we have two of our favorite educators for Covet in Maine, Ian and Lo.
Hi. We're so excited to be here, you guys. Thank you for being up early, wherever you are, and joining us.
Yes, for sure. Definitely on your Friday. We're really excited about this new launch that is coming on Monday, the 13th. We've been working behind the scenes on something called Elevate Your Artistry with Photography, the Masterclass. So Ian is so intentional in everything that he does, and we wanted to work with him to bring all of his expertise to the forefront so other artists that have no background in photography that really wanted to elevate what they do on social, what they do on their website. So it's really been a labor of love on their team and in partner with two of our amazing team members, Jonathan and Lysandra. So we're really excited to jump in and talk all things elevate your artistry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. So as we dive in, can you tell us where you're located and how would you describe your unique style?
Oh, yeah. So we are from Huntington Beach, California, originally Northern California, but we would describe our style. How would we describe our style?
We're like a little NorCal, a little SoCal.
With a Tulum twist.
Yeah.
I
We do
love
being
that.
near like somewhere tropical, or near the water.
For sure. And your beautiful space is right on the water, so that's an added touch.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Yeah. So, how long have you been in the beauty space? Can you give us a little bit of your background? When did you start working with extensions, and when did you want to incorporate photography into that?
Yeah, gosh, is this gonna age me? No, I've been doing hair for over 16 years now. And even before that, I got into the beauty industry doing makeup. And so um I'd say extensions, I probably got in really like full in and all in around what 7 years, 6, 7 years ago,
Mhm.
when we relocated from Sacramento, which is where we were living at the time, to Laguna Beach, and really just dove right in. And with all the training that I had years prior, I was able to
Mhm.
have a full circle moment and bring that NorCal flavor down here. And yeah.
All right. And when did you fall in love with photography?
Honestly, I've always had a thing for photography. More specifically, I've always had a thing for hair and movement. And so, whether we're in New
Mhm.
York City or if we're down at the beach, the one thing that has always captured my eyes is just like seeing all textures, all colors just flying in the wind, which really does like resonate. But as far as photography goes, I bought my first camera, a used one back in the day, and I didn't even think in 2024 that it was going to be so important to know your way around it, get alone to have to capture that for social media. Because back then, like people like had portfolios, and back in the days, I had to like literally do someone's hair, and I'd have to walk around and pass out cards. You know what I mean? And if you're like old
Yes.
school, guerrilla style, like you got to hit the streets, and I had to go and physically meet people, and
Mhm.
being able to showcase the work then is so different than it is now. It's much easier, but there are little things that you have to like understand, whether you're using your camera phone or you're using a DSLR.
Mhm.
But I've always had a thing for photography.
I love that. So let's dive into elevating your artistry through photography. How would you describe how a high quality photography has impacted your salon's brand image and your customer perceptions?
Yeah. Put it this way, when we first opened up our spot, we were just using a camera phone. And
Mhm.
if you have an iPhone, there's always new updates and things like that. And as every
Mhm.
year you get a new phone, we were those fanatics. So there would be like a better camera lens and a better thing and a new addition and a feature. And I was so confused because just thought I would point and shoot. and didn't realize that as the phones were evolving, like, you kind of have to adjust things and settings, and the phones were giving you like really cool features, but if you didn't know your way around, like, you would have blurriness, or you would have a lot of hair shots that weren't crisp and clear, but you bought the new phone, so you're like, what the heck? It's supposed to be like super sharp. So that was one of the things where I was like, I really need to study up and learn up on just the basics. And even with camera phones, I went to the Apple store, you guys, and I would do their free classes and just be like, listen, I got a Pro Max. How do I take advantage of the benefits of this? And then I would go to our camera shop that's nearby, and I would take their free courses, or I would pay and do little lessons on how to work with my DSLR. But when we made the transition and really started learning how to apply the different features and changing the settings, I'd say that we got a lot more people coming in or knocking on our DMs, asking for application link. And I think it's because also we don't like to use a lot of artificial light if possible. So if you can manage your devices and have a crisp and clear photo that shows the color for what it is and the hair in its truest form, the people that like your style will be reaching out and trying to, get a spot in your chair.
I think it also helps too, like when we changed the quality of our photography, bigger brands started noticing our work and reposting. When we really started dialing that in, there was a big wave of new guests knocking on our door. So I think it really made a big difference when we switched really from iPhone to the big boy camera.
Yeah, or big girl camera.
Or big girl camera.
Big day camera.
So that also goes into, there's a lot of time and energy that goes into perfecting your craft, and going from an iPhone, which is one beast, to a camera that's a completely different, a lot more intricate tool. Was it challenging? Like, how did you feel going into something that everyone can do, and now you're into more of a niche style?
It was scary. I'm gonna be 100. Like, it was scary because, and I say that because it's like when you're shooting your clients, you already have a set amount of time booked out for that appointment. And so in the very beginning, when I was trying to like tweak things and figure out, oh, if I adjust this setting, what happens then? It did take extra time. And so my better half right here, who helps me with the business, also keeps me on time. So he'll come around and let me know, listen, you've got 10 more minutes, get the shot, So that part was a little bit tricky, but I think the more that you play with your settings and the more that you pick up your camera, it gets easy. But yeah, I feel like everyone here is passionate about what they do, and we put hours into each guest. So to be able to like capture your work at the end of it all, and then look back at it after it's been posted, or you have it saved in a folder somewhere, and to be able to use it on your website, you just feel so proud, and it makes you even more excited to just see what else you can learn,
For sure. And you mentioned before that you were passing out cards. That's how you grew your clientele. So what does your marketing strategy look like now? And how do you prioritize certain platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or if you have your own website?
Good question. I'd say, well, do you want to start?
Yeah, I would say almost 100% of our demographic does not use Facebook. Facebook, kind of where we live, is what people reserve for like their families and friends and high school acquaintances and stuff.
To creep on them.
Yeah, to creep on them. So there's not a lot of marketing through Facebook in our circles down here. Everything is through Instagram and word of mouth, honestly. I feel like maybe 75% of our business is word of mouth.
Yeah, so what's been great for us is like we know and have zeroed in on the specific platform. We try not to stretch ourselves too thin. I just created a TikTok, and so I'm not the type to lip sync or dance, or I don't even think I'm funny, to be honest with you guys. But what I do know is that I can turn out some good hair, So I finally end up with that. But we do ask our clients, how did you find us? And a lot of the times, even in the application, it's through Instagram, or they saw someone who's a client of ours at the gym, and they were just like, why is her hair so pretty when it's like 7 a.m. and she's out here on the reformer? You know what I mean? And so when we realized, after doing like a poll and just looking at our applications, we're like, listen, let's go all in with Instagram. And then once we get that going and our books are full, we can dabble in and do some other fun stuff on the other platforms, but mainly it's word of mouth. It's and Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned also that going from the iPhone over to a full-on camera, you got attraction from those bigger brands. Like, how do you think that contributed to you increasing your bookings and your inquiries from clients?
Yeah, visibility. Like it really.
Honest, yeah. Like I feel like with your DSLR, your camera phone's great, but with your DSLR, you get way more options that can help you and tools. So it's not just the lenses, but there are times where I'm taking photos or content, and I feel like the lighting inside the studio is not the best. And so, you know, kind of tweak things with your camera phone, but then when you actually have a DSLR and you can attach really good, like high quality lenses, it lets in a lot more light. The details in the hair is very crisp. And I think when you're like, for us, it wasn't a plan to have brands reach out. It's so fun that they are. But when we made that switch, the pictures looking like high quality, and the details in it, it made people want to like partner up or reach out and inquire about collabing. Even with a lot of like our influencers and models that we have, it set us apart from the person next door to us who's just shooting with their camera phone, which is still pretty, but it just took it to that level, you know?
Yeah, it was almost like this studio portraiture. Like people would reach out wanting that feeling that girl's emoting in that photo. Like I want to feel like how that photo looks.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. It goes back to like that look of things. Like you mentioned, someone's in the gym and you're like, wait, your hair is like bomb. How did you get there? And then being able to come into your space and really it translates from when they're in a chair to when they leave back out. And it's like another marketing tool, the more clients that you get in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I feel like nothing speaks more volumes than someone's own testimonial about it. Like blondes, you know, nobody listens to a blonde more than a blonde that's been through a blonde journey, you know. So it's nice. Word of mouth really does help a lot.
Yeah. And I think that too, being able to have a camera, a DSLR camera with a really good lens, which I share in our video course, you guys, my favorites. If you're in a situation where you're in a salon and there's a lot going on behind you, it's hard to be able to capture your work and defocus a lot of what's going on in the back. And so in the video course that we created with Covet and Maine, I share my favorite tools, but then also my settings, and I break that down and make it really easy to swallow and digest.
Yeah.
Digest.
Yes.
But you might actually have these lenses too. And so you'll be amazed at how much easier it could be and how much more flexibility and wiggle room you have to adjust little things to bring out your best work.
And I love that you mentioned our masterclass. Can you share why it was important for you to share your journey with photography, your style with other artists that are interested in elevating what they do in the salon?
Yeah, we get asked all the time online, and even when we're out and about from other hairdressers, like, how do you get your pictures look like this, or how do you do that? And we thought, look, there's clearly a demand, and no matter how busy we get, I feel like it's so important to be able to give back to my industry and pour back into other people. I had a lot of people do that for me in the beginning of my career, and there was a point where there was like a wall. And so a lot of the people that were training me or I apprenticed under in the past, they only knew so much of that time. And so here we are going through having an actual book versus going online and the whole social media thing. I was like, well, I've always known you had to do more, and I've always had my own flavor and way that I wanted to share my art. And so to be able to like, I don't want to say like skim off the fat, but to help make it easy for other stylists and just get straight to the point so you can start benefiting from like the tips and save some money. Like let me be the one. I went and paid and learned a lot. And I'm just so excited to be able to have this platform with you guys to share and help elevate the industry as a whole. So I love my people. I love my hairdressers.
And I love that you mentioned your unique style. So like in watching these videos, I feel people will see who you guys are through that, but they'll also be able to pick and choose where they want to interject who they are, whether they're an East Coast girly or Midwest, just to bring a new aspect to it. So, what do you want them to gain from watching your course?
Go first.
Well, I think their photography skills. Honestly, we personally know some amazing hairdressers, but they don't. I feel like the work that they promote doesn't do them justice. And I feel like once that happens, business is going to be booming, the work's going to be out there. And I feel like if we could help everybody just elevate their stuff just a little bit, maybe what works for us will work for them.
Yeah, I love that. I kind of like to think that I liked this whole where you pay it forward. Like I've had people help me to the best that they could and with the knowledge they had at that time. My hopes that after watching this video course, if you guys purchase it and take the time to watch it and actually experiment, my hope is that you not only will have, a full book or attract the clients that you want and hopefully get them by sharing like your vibe and your aura. Like we're all about attraction, we're all about vibes, but I want you to also be able to like pass that along as well or inspire somebody else, or refer them back to the video. That way they can watch it on their own time and they're going to receive it how they will. And, I know that it's all going to be a game, right? But I'm excited to see what everyone's feedback is and how it elevates their business, whether it's money or it's the artistic side, and you just feel really proud. And I think we can be so busy that we forget to take those moments. And then lastly, it's to share like your experience with other people. So hopefully they can come on and watch the video and be just as inspired to slay every day,
Nothing feels better than like nailing a killer shot after you just did some killer hair.
Yeah, it's all the feeling, guys. Your feeling as the artist, and then the feeling translated from your client after you just spent 3-4 hours with them. Like that's what's going to attract more people, and they're going to be able to see your vibe, and the feeling that you gave that person. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
No, I love. And I love that you guys mentioned how you want them to feel because you talked about where you came from when you first started, and then you had people along the way to assist you. There was no gatekeeping a part of this, and you just want to spread that love around a little bit more and give people the opportunity to elevate in what they're doing behind the chair and have quality photos to look back on. You're building your portfolio every time you have a client in your chair.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And what advice would you give someone that's completely new to photography, but is wanting to grow within their business and attract their ideal clientele?
Pick up that DSLR. I know a lot of us have one. And I know that, again, going back to like appointment bookings, like I know that we can be short of time, or if you're crazy OCD like I am, like I want to squeeze in as much as I can to make that experience amazing. But don't just reach for the camera phone. Like I challenge you to pick up your DSLR. If you've got it in the closet, pull it out. Or maybe if you're also like me, go buy something new to get you excited to want to play with it. But I've had, like in the beginning, I had a DSLR camera that I would look at all the time and was just like, it's a lot, or I don't have the time to like figure it out. But it wasn't until I bought a new lens where I was like, okay, I just put money down again on this equipment and I can't just let it sit here and do nothing. It needs to make me money or make me feel happy, right? So picking up like a portrait lens, a 50 millimeter, like that will get you excited. And you'll be amazed with seeing just how different your photos look with that versus just like your phone or just being rushed in snap. Okay, love you, gotta go. You know what I mean?
What would be like your recommendation for like a first time DSLR camera? Like what was your first go-to?
Oh, okay, so my very first camera back in the day was a Canon. It was the TI line. So I think mine was like a T5i, and you can get those series. I'm sure they're like at a T8i now, but you can get them used even. Check out your local camera shops, you guys, and you can see what they have, if you don't want to invest too much money as you're starting out, you can go that route, or you can even rent. A lot of people don't realize you can rent equipment. So before you decide to drop all this cash, maybe go rent something for a week and take a class. Most camera shops, we have Sammy's cameras and
B&H
photos. If you're in New York City, like every time we're with you guys in Covet and I walk by it, I'm like, I've got the itch to go shopping and pick their brains. Because again, I'm a hairdresser who is learning and applying photography skills to my business. I'm not a photographer and I don't shoot I shoot on a regular basis, but I'm not like a full-on photographer. But if I can figure out you guys can do it too. And I feel like once you see the proof, it'll get you excited. We're artists. And so you got to get your hands on something and you got to see something to be able to be like, okay, now I can tweak things and make it fit my vibe.
It's fun. There's a learning curve too. And even learning the language of photography, they speak different than hairdressers do, like in using vernacular, just in general. So I think when if you do decide to take classes and stuff like that, they're super fun, but approach everything with a grain of salt and pick and choose what you need and take what you can and leave what you can't, and you'll how you develop.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have this VOD on our site for those that are interested in purchasing, learning more, working with Ian and Lo. They're amazing artists behind the chair, but they also have a lot of tools in their tool belt that can assist you with your journey, growing with photography. And there's always little tips and tricks that go along the way. So we're really excited to launch this VOD. It's 6 modules that will get you start to finish what you need to get started. So can you guys share what's your favorite module that you want them to learn from?
My favorite module is creative posing. Ian works with one of our models directly, and it's my favorite segment. I think it's really funny. Love it. You're going to learn a lot from it, and there's not a lot of fluff to how Ian speaks. It's really just direct to the point. So he's just going to be like, do this, do that, do this, and it makes sense. So you're going to love it.
I think you hit on the nail on the head. You hit it on the head. No, I'm a Virgo, and I like to just not waste a lot of time, but no, I agree. Like, there isn't a lot of fluff. I'm not here to give you guys a runaround. I want it. When I receive information, I like to get it verbally, and then I like to see it, and then I want to actually get my hands in it. That way, then I can tie everything together, because that's just how my brain works. But the favorite module of mine, I mean, it's hard. I was gonna say what he said, but I'd say the editing. Where I am now as a hairdresser, full-time hairdresser who also dabbles in photography and utilizes this every day with our clients. I'm always curious about how someone else is editing. And I know that there's a lot of people that like to tweak a lot of the hair, and I don't care if you do. More power to you if that's your vibe. For me, and I explain it in the video course, you guys, how there are certain things that I like to perfect, and yes, I'll smooth. And that's more like the face and the skin. We have people that come in at different times of the day. And sometimes here in SoCal, you never know when someone just got a microneedling or some kind of treatment or a nose job or anything like that. And so with those curveballs, I still am going to get your photo. I don't care if you're got a nose job or a half facelift. But that's where I share my posing tips as well in there, and how you can still capture your work without throwing your client under the bus like that.
We're gonna get the shot.
But we're gonna get the shot. But I think editing is always really exciting and fun for me to be able to see.
Well, we're launching on May 13th. That's this coming Monday. You'll be able to purchase through email. If you're a part of the collective, check your email now, because there's a notify me that you can sign up for. For those that are interested in learning more about this course, feel free to reach out to education@covetandmain.com. As we said, this has been a labor of love. We're super excited for you to take part in this, learn something new, elevate your artistry through photography, and have these amazing educators to guide you along the way.
Oh, we love you. Can't wait for you guys to sign up and then send us a message. Let us know what you think, and see you guys on the other side.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for jumping on this Friday. Our special Covet session was really fun to talk this through with you.
Having
And
you.
look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.